Hello, welcome back. So in this part, we will understand the behavior of tension member. Well, if the tension member, say for example, this is a plate, if it is subjected to tension from both ends, what will happen? The plate at the yield strength. So now look at this dot. This dot is showing the stress level. So at this stress, the plate, in case of plate, the gross plate, the section is subjected to a yield strength along the whole cross section. So along the whole cross section, we consider that the stress variation is uniform. So at the same time, when stress level reaches here, then we say that the whole section is under the yielding. So beyond yielding, we do not consider the strength of this plate. So we consider the maximum strength of this plate up to this yield point. Up to this yield point, we consider only the strength. And that is why in case of gross area, as you can see in this plate, we consider the yielding part only, which means we consider the Fy value in this case. And as you can see in the star, this star is showing that we consider Fy value in this case. Beyond Fy, the whole section is yielding, and beyond that, the whole section is getting in the plastic stage. So because of that, as the whole section is in the yielding, so we consider the maximum strength of the gross section as Fy value. Okay. And here in the limit state, I said there are two types of limit state. One is yielding. So we consider yielding in case of gross area, which means there is no hole, there is no deduction of area of cross section in case of plate, like you can see in this case. So yielding we consider when we have the gross area without the deduction. If there is deduction, in that case we consider the ultimate strength, or sometimes we call it rupture strength. So with that we will see in the next slide. So in the same plate, now consider that there is a hole. Now in this case you can see that there is a hole. Then what will happen when we apply the stress from both ends? Then we know that maximum stress will be at the edges, of the hole, and minimum stress will be at the away part. And this we can see in this case. And also now notice this dot. Notice this dot. I am again showing you. Again, see, when we apply a force up to a yield limit, then the stress distribution, you can see at the edges up to this value is Fy, but at the end, this stress distribution is very low. Now, if we further increase the stress, in this case, what will happen? Well, because this is the steel plate and it is ductile, then what will happen? The stress which is higher at the edges of the hole, it will redistribute to the surrounding parts or the adjacent part, which means at this part and this part will also get stressed. It will be redistributed to those parts, and this we can see through this figure. There you can see if the red dots is here, it is showing that the redistribution of the stress is taking place. So there the redistribution, I mean the stress was at the edges of the hole, but as we are applying more forces, then what is happening? The stress is trying to redistribute to the adjacent part. Now on further increment of the stress, and now again look at the red dot, it will get up to the ultimate strength. There you can see it will get up to the ultimate strength, and corresponding to this, there you can now see the third figure. In this we know that this part is already in the ultimate strength, and we assume that when this part will be in the ultimate strength, the away part, this one, this away part will be in the yielding. So now with this we can say that when we apply force or when we apply stress up to the ultimate limit, then at least the away part will be in the yielding. This away part will be in the yielding, which means up to this much stress will be reached in the away part, but at the edge part near to the hole, the maximum stress, which is Fu, will occur. So that is why whenever we are talking about the section which is having holes or about the deduction, in that case we consider the ultimate strength, because at ultimate strength the away part will be in the yielding. But in case of previous case, now see the previous case. Now in the previous case you can see the whole section is under the yielding at the same time because of the uniform stress distribution. But in case of net section, so there we see that the stress distribution is non-uniform, but when the stress is at ultimate level, so you can see here when the stress is at ultimate level, then we see that stress near the hole is ultimate, which is Fu, and stress near the this part, near the away part, it is about Fy. So when this condition is achieved, if we further apply the force, what will happen? The crack will start initiating from here. Now I am showing you the animation again. Look at this place. This place. If I further apply the force, then what will happen? You see, this is how yielding or rupture will take place. So plate will be breaking. Plate will be breaking from here, and further this breakage will be along the, I mean it will be continued till the whole plates broken. So this is how the behavior of the plate having the holes is there, and because of this we consider the rupture of the net area, and because of this we consider Fu as the maximum strength, because at Fu we have maximum, I mean we have yielding along the whole cross sectional area. And this star mark also shows that we consider Fu value in case of strength of plate in case of rupture, but strength of plate in case of yielding, we consider Fy value. We consider Fy value, and in case of the ultimate, we consider Fu value. So whenever we are getting, we are calculating the strength in rupture or strength in the plate having holes, we will consider Fu value. In case if we are calculating the strength of gross sectional area which have no holes, no deduction of the cross sectional area, in that case we will use Fy value because of the stress distribution pattern. In case of gross yielding, it is uniform. In case of net section, it is non-uniform. Now coming to another important term which is called the net effective area. So as it is related to the previous slide, in the previous slide we have seen that there is a plate in which there is a hole. So again I'm showing you that if there is a hole, then what will be the cross-sectional area along the center line of this hole? What will be the cross-sectional area? Obviously cross-sectional area of the plate minus the area of the hole. So we can easily calculate that this area and this area will be the net area. And how do we find out this area? By deducting this much part. So that will be called net effective area or net sectional area. So that is the theory about it. So in the members where there is a deduction of the hole, we design tension member on the basis of net sectional area, which means net area after deducting the area of holes. And that is how the formula net area will be gross area of the respective part minus the area of the holes in that part. So we will see that in the next slide also with example. Say in this case, now you can see, for example, this plate is there, and if it is subjected to the tension, and if we have to, obviously the plate will break along this line, this red line. So at this, what will be the cross sectional area? If B is the width of plate and T is the thickness of plate, then the area will be B into T. But here we have the deduction for the hole. So hole is represented by D naught. So we need to find out, or we need to deduct this. So D naught is existing along the B. So what we will do is B minus D naught multiplied by T. So this is how we find out the net effective area in this case. Similarly, if we have two holes along this section like this, in that case, we are supposed to deduct D naught twice, D naught from here and D naught from this case. So this is how we find out B minus 2 times of D naught multiplied by T. Similarly, if there are n number of holes in a single section, in that case, the formula will become An is equals to B minus n number of holes multiplied by T. T is the thickness of plate. So this is how we calculate the net sectional area in case of the plates. Now, if there are staggered pitch like this, we are supposed to, if we place the hole in a staggered manner, then we are left either calculating this red line cross section or this pink line cross section, this one, and the area will be same. Sorry, in this case, this 2 is not there. So in both cases, it will be B minus D naught multiplied by T. So either you calculate net effective area along this section or along this section. The value will be B minus D naught multiplied by T. But there may be another possibility also, like this. If there are holes which are close as compared to this case, so in that case, this distance, center to center distance between the hole will be P, which is pitch. So in this case, if we are applying the tension force, there are possibility that plate may break along this line or along this inclined plane. So in that case, how do we find out the net effective area? If there is inclined plane, how do we find out the net effective area? So here in the formula, you can see the net effective area will be between this and this. If I put the same hole here, then the net sectional area will be this. If I am calculating the area of cross section with one hole, then that will be this one. But what if I put this hole in this staggered manner? Then how do we find out the AN? So area of cross section in this manner will be between this and between this. But how much? So for that, there is one formula that we generally use. We try to include because of the presence of the inclined plane. So like in this case, you can see there are some boards which are arranged in staggered manner. So in this case, there may be a net cross sectional area along this line or maybe along this line, like you can see in this case. So now how do we find out cross sectional area in case if there are inclined planes? So for that, you can see the formula. B minus ND. N is the number of hole, D naught is the hole, and for every inclined plane, we add this part, P square by 4G. P is the pitch, T is the pitch and G is the gauge distance. So there you can see. So this one is gauge distance. Similarly, this one and this one. So these are the gauge distance and this is the pitch distance. So if I try to find out the cross-sectional area along this, so how many inclined planes are there? Inclined plane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 inclined plane. So how do we find out that? In that case, B minus. Now, how many holes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 holes are there. So we will write 7 times of D naught plus. How many inclined planes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 inclined planes are there. 6 multiplied by P square divided by 4G and whole multiplied by the T. This is how we will find out the net effective area in this case. So P square by 4G, 1 P square by 4G will be for one inclined plane. So now in our case, there are 6 inclined planes. So we have taken 6 multiplied by P square by 4G. So in case of such staggered manner, we consider all the possible section. Now, for example, one more example I'm giving you. Say, for example, there are holes arranged in this manner. So, and if it is subjected to the tensile force, now which section will be the critical section? Which section along which this plate will fail? For that, what we will do is we will try to find out net sectional area along this line. Similarly, we may find out net sectional area along this line, net sectional area along this line also. So whichever gives us the minimum cross sectional area will be the critical area. So if this section is giving us the critical area, minimum area, that will be our section. If there are inclined planes, how do we find out net sectional area? This is how it is all about. We generally include P square by 4G quantity in the formula. So in other words, in the previous formula, I have used this sigma. Sometimes in place of sigma, we use M. M is the number of inclined planes. So there I have written M is equal to number of zigzags or inclined planes. Now, this is another important case. Say in the previous case, you must have seen that all P value, these P value are same. G value are equal. What if there are different G value and P value? How do we find out net sectional area in that case? So in this case, you can see these are the holes, and they have different G value and P value. For example, the distance between these two holes is P1. Similarly, the distance between these two holes is the P2. Distance between these two holes is G1 and distance between this and this is G2. So this is how, in this case, how do we find out the net sectional area? In that case, we again include P square by 4G, but in that case, we include P square by 4G in this manner. So in this case, AN will be B minus N is the number of holes along the section. D naught is the dia of hole. So if we are taking, for example, in the formula is about section 1, 2, 4, 5 and 6. So section 1, 2, 4, 5 and 6. So this section we are considering, and in this section there are 3 holes. This one and this one, but there are 2 inclined planes. One is this one and second plane is this one. So for this plane, for the upper plane, we are taking P1 square by 4G. So P1 is for the upper plane and distance G1, 4G1. Similarly, for this second plane, we are taking P2 square by 4G2 for this particular section. If we are taking another section, in that case, again, we need to find out how many holes are there, how many inclined planes are there, which inclined plane is including there, and based on that, we will decide which value we should take, whether we need to take P1 or P2 or anything else. So this is how we calculate. In this case, there may be possible sections for which we need to calculate the sectional area, and those failure plane can be 1, 2, 3. Failure may take place along 1, 2, 3. This 1, 2, and 3. So failure may take place along this, or 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 that we have considered earlier. And another plane may be 1, 2, 5, 6. 1, 2, 5, 6. In this we have not considered 4. So all these possible planes we consider, and then we try to find out the net sectional area. So whatever section gives us the minimum sectional area will be the critical section, which means that will be the critical one, and plate will fail along that section only. So we will continue this discussion in the next part. Thank you.